Well, to shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have this phone with Dr. Youmn Hamaky, Professor of Economic Science, University. Good afternoon, Dr. Hamaky.
Good afternoon.
I really have the honor to have this phone with you, of course. Dr. Hamaky, how do you see the importance that of Egypt hosting the 21st CAMESA summit, which is going to be also held in the new administrative capital?
Actually, a very important meeting and very important event since Egypt is going to take the presidency of the CAMESA this year, and taking into consideration that we need to activate and enhance the resilience of the CAMESA countries in order to address the repercussions of COVID-19, as well as enhancing potentialities for economic integration, so that CAMESA can play a vital role towards having the free trade area among all African countries. And regarding Egypt, Egypt has played a very important role still during the presidency of the African Union to enhance our relation as Egypt with the African continent. And we have economically very strong relation with CAMESA, since we are exporting more than $2 billion and importing with $700 million. So we have a surplus with CAMESA countries. Besides other opportunities regarding, enhancing the value chain for industrialization, since within the vision of Africa 2063, the most important aim is industrialization for the continent, so that the continent can benefit from their resources instead of exporting raw materials and then import finished goods from other countries with very high prices. I believe that this summit is going to be quite important regarding how to enhance our relations with the CAMESA countries, and several topics are going to be discussed regarding businessmen, how to exchange B2B opportunities of investment and enhance investment among the CAMESA countries, and discussing, the rules of origin, so that we can enhance the potentialities for free trade area, as well as, improving the trade in services, taking into consideration intellectual property rights, as well as enhancing food security and addressing climate change.
Yes. So, Dr. Hamaky, this round of the summit or session is held under the title Boosting the Ability of Steadfastness Through Strategic Digital Economic Integration. So I would love to know your comment on this and on the agenda of the summit.
Yes, of course, we know quite well that Egypt, after COVID-19, enhanced and strengthened our efforts towards the digitalization of the economy. We all know that after COVID-19, the world is going towards digitalization, and the future for artificial intelligence, cryptocurrencies, and as well as electronic trade. So this needs a lot of efforts to be done for the African continent regarding building capabilities and enhancing connection, and Egypt can transfer its experience to the African countries, to the CAMESA countries, regarding efforts for digitalization and upgrading skills. I believe that, taking into consideration that we have a high rate of unemployment in the continent, we have to empower women economically, since we have a very high rate of poverty of women. Feminization of poverty is still a phenomenon in the African continent and in our country. So all this digitalization can help a lot towards the economic empowerment of women. And in Egypt, actually, we have applied researches and, real projects on the ground to prove that. So what we need to do is to exchange our experiences, is to specify what efforts should be done, how to use on the institutional basis. We have training centers all over Africa. We have upgraded our training centers in Egypt so that to serve the potentialities for training African youth and women. And even we have applied that during our presidency for the African Union. So we have a very good experience, and it could be extended for the COMESA countries. So I believe great opportunities can be done. It needs a lot of work. It needs efforts to be exerted so that for mutual benefit of these countries.
Yes, Dr. Hamaky, what is the volume of trade exchange between Egypt and the COMESA countries?
Actually, it is approximately $3 billion. As I mentioned, Egypt is having a surplus in its balance of trade. We are exporting with more than $2 billion and importing with $700 million. So still, this is not promising compared to the potentialities. When we specify the resources existing in the COMESA countries, as well as enhancing the role of institutions, specifically financial institutions, and here we have some challenges regarding the risk of investment, that needs to be addressed properly, as well as transportation. We have another problem regarding the transportation among COMESA countries, still very highly costed. And if we can improve and have investment in methods of transportation, and we have several projects to do that, I believe this may help a lot to, enhance our capabilities for increasing, our economic relations to generate more opportunities of job and combat poverty in these countries.
Yes, Dr. Hamaky, what is the expected future of economic cooperation between Egypt and the COMESA countries, especially in the digital market?
Yes, I believe that we have, electronic trade. This could play a significant role in enhancing, trade relations between Egypt and the COMESA countries. As well as, some of the activities that are going to be done in the summit are harmonization of our customs. These are quite important. We need harmonization in our economic policies, like monetary and fiscal policies. This can play a significant role towards enhancing economic relations. I believe these are or have been put in the agenda to be discussed. Besides, improving the role of our institutions. So this will need more actions regarding exchanging experiences, upgrading the skills of civil servants in these institutions. We have started to do that. We have several projects, but still it needs more efforts to be done.
Yes, Dr. Hamaky, Egypt will take over the presidency of the COMESA for the second time in history. So how do you see or evaluate the previous session or conference of COMESA which Egypt hosted previously?
Actually, we can mention that the continent is still suffering from severe problems. When you specify the position of the African continent on the world in the world economy, using indicators like the participation of the continent in international trade, in investment, to how extent the continent is capable to attract foreign direct investment towards the transfer of technology, and to how extent we can enhance the stock market for these countries. You are going to find actually that the continent is still far away to be to have a pivotal role in the world economy, and from here it comes that for the last decade, lessons learned are now quite important. We need to combat the corruption, and we have done a lot of efforts actually during the presidency of Egypt for the African Union towards efforts towards combating corruption. So all these actually are a holistic approach towards addressing all the factors that may enhance the position of the African continent internationally.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time and for your valuable information, Dr. Youmn Al-Hamaky, Professor of Economics at Ain Shams University. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. Ladies and gentlemen, a short break and I'm going to be back with you.
مصر فيها 100 مليون، مصر كمان مساحتها 1,000,000 كيلومتر مربع، بس في حجم ضخم جدا